me doing a tarot reading for Thrawn and you crying about my fictional character tarot reading.
Start your sublight engines. It's time for RuPaul's Pod Race, the queer Star Wars podcast. Welcome back to another week of chaos for our very special Thrawn Ascendancy Lesser Evil episode. Big spoilers ahead, so if you haven't finished reading the book, like tune out, or if you don't care about spoilers, I guess you can keep listening. But anyway, I'm Jess. My pronouns are they, them. You can find me on TikTok and Twitter at Kawaii Jessio. And my gender this week is Samalius Please Kiss on the Mouth challenge.
Ah, so true, bestie.
Hi, my name is Mel. I use they, them pronouns. You can find me on TikTok at Grunkle Rex. And my gender this week is Cheery in her poltergeist era. Like she's like the little child, and she's like, they're here.
Because here's the thing. My name is Ollie. I use any pronouns. You can find me on social media at Ollie Fresh with the PH. And my gender this week was Cheery Chopper Parallels because they both got possessed. Also, I did tell Mel about that. That was going to be my gender ahead of time.
I'm so sorry.
How many war crimes has Cheery committed?
0.
None. It's just like, she got possessed.
The way I've had to change my gender 3 times, and the last time I fucked up someone else's gender.
I love our communal gender.
What was your
other alternative genders I had? I was gonna make a Samalius joke, and then I was gonna make a Thalius with a Glock joke, and that was
also gonna be mine. Hi, my name is Claudia. My pronouns are she, her. You can find me on social media at Claudia Says, Kaludia Says. My gender of the week, because it couldn't be Thalius with the Glock, is perhaps feminized. Because if you read the audiobook version, when our special little girl, Thrawn's sister, is talking, Marky Boy does make her talk the same way, in the same cadence that Thrawn does, just like as a girl, and I do think about that a lot. What's her name again?
Barika,
yeah. Thank you.
Okay, here's the problem. I kept on saying either Barika or Borica, and both of those, not great on my mouth. It doesn't feel good on when I say it. But I'm also like, that is the most powerful name for Thrawn's sister to have had. I don't know what I was expecting her name to be. I guess I was expecting like a TH, but that wouldn't make sense because she's not Myth.
Yeah, because she's not Myth.
She's not Myth, but she is a myth. You say the woman, the myth, the legend.
Speaking of like powerful epic women, let's just talk about, like, jump right in and talk about how, like, Timmy, as we put in the fucking agenda, I'm gonna quote this like word for word. I need everyone to know what's written in our podcast agenda. Timmy put his whole pussy into this one. So many iconic women.
There are so many iconic women in all of these books, so this is like the crown jewel of girl bossery. Like, so
truly,
the only other books I can think of that have this many girl bosses are the Padme books, and they have them like by definition. So in these books, they're like, yeah, it's about Thrawn and like 8,000 girl bosses, and it's very powerful.
Okay, E.K. Johnson and Timothy Zahn collab when?
No, but
yeah,
seriously,
truly.
E.K. Johnson and Timmy Zahn are the only writers who have written Padme. So it makes sense.
Concept Sabe Lani.
Very powerful.
I do believe that there is a grand polycule at play here in the Chiss Ascendi. I believe it's true. I know it in my heart of hearts.
I'd like to hear about this polycule.
So I do believe that Aralani and Wootro are in love, but I also think Zienda deserves a kiss on the mouth, and she also has an angry enemies to lovers arc with Roscu. And I just think that's very powerful. Additionally, if Thalius, girl, if you want to like have an open relationship with Samakro, you are more than welcome to get in there, and that means both of them by extension are in there. It's
Wootro and Thalius is very powerful.
Yes, it is. Just literally any of them. They're all just like, wow. Wouldn't it be funny?
Everyone's like, Aralani girl,
Do you think
I'm
that
obsessed
like
with
maybe
you.
also like Thalius and like Borika? I know Borika's
Yes.
like married and stuff, but like maybe like
Open
she's
marriage,
also,
Borika.
like
Wait, not Thalius.
open marriage.
Not Thalius.
She
being
is
like,
married
I
and
think-
she might be dying.
Okay, she could be in
Noah's
an open
not here.
relationship.
Yeah.
Not Thalius being
Yeah.
like, hi, I was obsessed with your brother, but I'll take you instead.
I can't with that. I can't
No,
with
because
that.
Thalius I feel like is overthrown by like lesser
She's like,
evil.
upgrades, people, upgrades.
No,
Upgrades.
because she had like her childhood like
She
hero crush
realized
on
Thrawn was
Thrawn.
gay, and
And
then she was
then-
like, I'm gay.
No, she spent like 5 minutes with Thrawn and actually realized she's just like, I am so thankful for everything you've done for me, but also it is just like platonic, like besties, and also I'm kind of getting tired of you. Cause she like when Cheerie's just like, do you want to go back to the Springhawk? Like, not to jump to the end of the book, but when Cheerie's just like, don't you want to like be able to go back to the Springhawk already? And like Thalius is just like, I'm so tired. This is a nice little break from them, please.
To be fair, that's like one of the most realistic like reactions to something in Star Wars of like, you went through some absolutely traumatic bullshit, and it's in not like these are 3 books that don't take up that much time. Yeah, I would be like, I'm good, bestie. Goodbye. Also be like, yeah, I'm gonna go live on an island with a hot woman. Yes.
You can go live on the farm for a bit, okay? Like Samakro, if you want to hit me up later on, like let me know. But
So we should go through, I guess, each of our iconic Chiss women. Well, Timmy, so for those of you who may not have followed along, we did live tweet Timmy's launch event yesterday, where they basically did say, they were like,
Thalius is the other main character.
yeah, well, not just that, but like Thalius is the main character, but he also said that this is an ensemble cast, which is like, thank you for the validation, because yeah, Thrawn is in it, but like he's just around. Like it's about him, but it's not about him. You know what I mean? Which, again, I could go on my whole rant about how it's just like the Clone Wars. It's just like the Clone Wars where Ahsoka is the main character, Thalius is the main character, and all the clones. So like, that's why I wanted to go through all of the girl bosses plus Samakro, who's also a girl boss.
No, I actually agree with that 100%. I feel like Samakro has girl boss energy.
Yeah.
Not girl boss honorary.
Girl boss honorary.
Adoptive girl boss.
Where is adoptive
Girl boss, and his name is just Samakro.
No, by the end, he's Trowborn. Well, the first girl boss, I mean, we see all of them, but like the first like big thing is Zayenda. Like Zayenda has her big like bye bitch moment. Like she really is like, yeah, I didn't have to be an asshole, but I chose to be a bitch today. And I was like, girl, I'm obsessed with you. At the beginning.
She really is like bitch honorary.
And I'm like, and I really do think that she learned that from Aralani, because, and I love that Aralani does just empower women. She just empowers the women around her, because there is a moment of Aralani at the end where she's kind of unhinged, where I think it's in the narration or whatever, where they're like, normally Aralani would be thinking about relationships and consequences, whatever, but right now she didn't give a fuck. And I was like, I'm very here for Aralani unhinged, but I feel like she has inspired that in other people, and she's inspired that in Zayenda, and like, it's very powerful.
I completely agree. I think Zayenda has I have a very strange relationship with that woman, because I ain't great or good. I hated the fuck out of her. I was like, damn.
I just want to say, I was defending her. You guys were slandering her when I hadn't finished Great or Good yet, and I was like, what did my girl Akinda, like, she didn't do anything wrong, whatever.
She
And then
didn't do anything wrong.
You guys were slandering her the whole time, and then, like, by the end, I was like, okay, you guys made it out to seem like she was that bad, and she wasn't. I was defending her. I was fighting for my life.
Yeah, that's me with
now-
fucking Samalius. So you being like, that's disgusting. Get that away, Jess. And I was just like, you don't know what I know, Claudia.
And now I'm like, oh, now everybody likes Zayenda? Well, I have been her fan from the start, Mal.
Okay, not you gatekeeping Zayenda.
Like, listen.
I am.
Okay, I went on a weird journey with her too, because it's just like, okay, like people have told me they don't like her, but she seems okay. And then I just like, what the fuck? And then because I was like, I'm okay. Then I'm like, I'm upset. and then gets to lesser evil. I was like, no, I'm okay again. Sorry, we went on like a weird little roller coaster, you and me, Zienda, but like
Maybe I relate.
You're pretty cool.
I do I do like how the odds are stacking, because I'm in Claudia's camp, where I was reading and I was like, dang, she's kind of sexy. And then at the end, and everyone was like, yeah, she sucks. And at the end, I was like, she didn't do anything. I thought she was just a cool little girl boss who was like, I like my family. And then she was like, actually, I like my job anyway.
Listen, maybe it's because, like, call me Samakro, Sammy, but I hate when they bring the family politics into expansionary defense fleet business. That has no right being here.
I think that was also, like, very powerful of her when she was like, actually, what are you guys doing? Like, I did just start the High Republic, and so every time they're like, you know, we are all the Republic, whatever, I do start crying, whatever, because in this book, in Lesser Evil, a lot, there are like, and I think Zienda is actually the one who says it the most, I want to say, probably because she's usually, like, beating Rosky over the head with a stick for most of this book, but where she's like, we're all Chiss, dumbass. She literally does say, she does say ass. Shout out to Timmy for letting her swear. But, like, I do love this whole, like, we are all Chiss, so that doesn't matter. And, like, I'm loving that.
I do like, her, like, character growth of last, like, book being like, my family is the most important, and then, like, realizing, no, we're all Chiss. And so, like, this book, she sees Roscoe, like, kind of, like, committing the same kind of dumbassery she was doing in Greater Evil. It's just like, no. Stop that. I know what you're going through, and I know your family's important to you, but, like, your family won't exist if all of the Chiss ascendancy doesn't exist.
She's like, here, how about you listen to Exile by Taylor Swift, and then you'll calm down.
Can we talk about, well, if we're talking about
I never got to defend myself.
Oh.
I never got to say
it's because you're wrong. Next question. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
I was just beat over the head like Roscoe was. Because, listen, I had a very interesting arc with that woman, because I agree, Jess, like, and I think it's one of the better character arcs in this story of, like, seeing someone who is so firmly rooted in family politics and gets so caught up in that and sees, like, hey, actually, big picture shit, we gotta get our game together. And seeing her kind of thrive once she has divorced herself from her toxic family environment and gotten herself a better job. Like, she's just thriving. She's live, laugh, loving, learning.
She got divorced just like Samakro.
The amount of people on Chiss Twitter talking about how they got how Samakro got divorced.
To explain for our listeners, there was a misprint in the previous book that in the Dramatis Personae that made Samakro, I believe, a cousin.
Yeah.
And then in this one, it said that he was married adoptive, which is a pretty big step down. So everyone was like, oh my God, how did that happen? And people were like, oh, haha, he got divorced, which would be very funny. Can
I talk about my theory around that?
Ooh.
If he were to be divorced, I do believe that he is fresh from a divorce at the very beginning of Chaos Rising. So Thrawn gets his job and he's like, I've just gone through a divorce. I'm going to hate this motherfucker so much. This is not me putting out some unnecessary sexual frustration out on this man. I just
Thrawn
hate him.
He's rebound.
Samakro does look at Thrawn and he's like, I hate this motherfucker so much. And he's like, but, and he's like, wait, no, I can't. But I mean, except
I kind of want to thank him. I kind of want to knock him out.
If you do listen to the Wicked soundtrack and you think about it with Lesser Evil, a lot comes together.
And you know what? I know that we like to make fun of Claudia a lot here for being a millennial and talking about theater, but she did talk at me about this for about 2.5 hours the other day, and I see it.
Josh.
No, but it was just you. You were translating.
Listen, if you think about what is this feeling about Samakro and Thrawn, if you think about for good about, like, all of them with Thrawn at the end, like, I do get emotional. No one mourns the wicked. about Thrawn at the beginning and at the end. Like, bestie, my brain, it is churning. It is on all cylinders. Anyways.
I think that we need to talk about the Thrawn Hamilton AU so I can talk about Mitth'Manuel'Miranda again. Hey, stop. No. Wait, no, they're tying me up. Help, quick, they're kicking me out of the meeting. I need to get this message out. Thrawn played by Mitth'Manuel'Miranda.
Anyway, can we talk about Wutro's moment, which might be the best moment in all 6 books? Sorry to Eli, but she's built different.
Okay, I want them to meet so badly. They're two. They're commanding officer's gay little friend / lover.
They would be two pretty best friends.
There is a part, again, another flirty little Wutro and Aralani moment where she's like, you know, oh, like, or maybe this isn't Greater Good, I can't remember, where they're like, oh, like, she's like, oh, you know, maybe one day when you're a higher rank or whatever, and she's like, and Wutro's like, I don't know, whatever, and Aralani's like, what makes you think that? And I'm like, oh, that's very fruity of you guys.
Not that Karen Farrell parallel.
No, literally, it is like that. And I just think, like, by the time of treason, that Wutro has gotten her own ship. She's gotten her own ship. She has ascended. She has gotten, and that's why she's not.
She has ascended.
No, she's gotten her own ship, and she's
the Wutro ascendancy.
I mean, it is though. It's her ascendancy, and we just all live in it. Like, but like by the time of treason, I do think that she has her own command, and that's why she's not there. I do think her and Eli are besties.
I think that she definitely probably has her own like little ship. It's like Samakro. That's why they're not there. It's just
do we
because
think
they got
he's
promoted.
Admiral? Do we think that he's Eli or not Eli? Jesus Christ. Do we think he's Eli? No. Do we think he's Admiral Macro?
Not Admiral
That's
Macro.
so powerful.
Well, that's actually
Big Macro.
Who do we think, if they were given the chance to be promoted that high, would give up their family status? I think Samakro. He doesn't care.
He doesn't give a fuck about family politics. He hates it. He's like, keep that shit out of here.
Wutro is a question for me, because something that Timmy said yesterday where he was like, Wutro is able to joke around and be a little free or whatever is because she doesn't have a lot of power in her family, but she does have stability, because people were asking, like, what is she? Is she Trailborn? Is she a cousin? What is she? And he didn't give any specifics, but he was like, she doesn't have a lot of power, but she does have stability, so she doesn't really have to worry about it. But we don't really see a lot of loyalty. Like, her loyalty is to Aralani. But like, do we think that she would give up her family name?
I think so. I think her loyalty is to Aralani and the bit. She's just a little comedian. She's like, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Let's just get into it. If I can just shit around and joke and kiss my epic wife, like, sure.
That's very powerful of her.
Okay, I do like the idea of Thrawn sending Eli to the Ascendancy and it being like meet the Fockers, but it's Wutro and Aralani, and like Samakro is there. It's like Eli's like, oh my god, I didn't realize that he had this many friends, and Samakro's like, I'm not his friend.
Not his friend. What the fuck are you talking about?
This is something I've also really enjoyed about the Ascendancy books. And honestly, this is, I think, to some level true about the Thrawn books. Most of the character arcs we see in this story is bitchy person begrudgingly works with Thrawn. Truly, like, everyone but maybe, like, Thras and oh my god, I almost said Samalius. Jesus Christ, I have brain worms. And Thalius.
Thras and Thalius.
Yeah. Everyone else is like...
Oh, and Cheery.
I mean, Cheery.
But even the thing with Thalius, too, though, is like Thalius has this sort of hero worship thing in Chaos Rising. But throughout Chaos Rising, she's like, damn, now that I know you, you're kind of a high-key kind of a freak. I would argue.
But she doesn't hate him. She doesn't hate him. She's just like, girl, what is your deal?
She doesn't. There are a couple parts in Greater Good where I'm like, oh my god, is she about to snap?
Yeah, but it's more of like the sibling thing of like of her being like, girl, shut the fuck up, like, to Thrawn. I don't think she ever really hates him. Not like quote unquote hates him, but like hates him in the way that like Samakro
it is kind of her like
does
figuring out like, damn, I like put this guy on a pedestal and he's just some guy, and he's also kind of hard to understand sometimes. But
I will say I'll protect
you, bestie.
The part at the beginning where he does jump scare her and she's like, I could have dropped my croissant is so funny. And he does laugh. Like, I don't know who's been doing the count of, like, how many times Thrawn smiles or something in this book, whatever, but, like, it is genuinely funny. But there was a moment where, like, they talked to each other or something that I was like, is this the last time they're going to talk to each other? That was very, like, Clone Wars, Ahsoka, and Anakin.
Yeah, where, Chewie has just gone to bed, and, like, Thales was gonna go to bed, and Thrawn comes in, and he's just like, hey, you and this, like, the Springhawk's going back to Chila. I'm gonna go with the Magus and what's his name for Ungali.
Oh God.
We're gonna go to Sunrise. I have to go with them, and Thales is just like, excuse me. And
yeah,
she's just like, why can't we fucking go with you? And he's just like, because you guys want to go back to Chila. Yeah.
That's the Clone Wars moment when Anakin is like, I have to go save the Chancellor. And then she's like, oh, we'll have time to hug later. And then they don't. Like, literally. Also, Timmy, please tell me if he got to say goodbye to Thales and Cheery. I need to know.
It, like, honestly didn't seem like it. Like, I feel like the last people he talked to were, like, Arlani and, like, Bakif. And then he just said, hey, peace out. I think the last time any of the others saw him was, like, at his trial where they're like, sorry, bitch, you've been exiled.
If we're talking about Clone Wars parallels, there is also a moment with Thras. Like, obviously we know he's gonna die. There's a moment with Thras in the memories or whatever. I think it's when they're, like, walking down the hallway or something that is exactly, and I mean exactly, like the point in Revenge of the Sith when Obi-Wan turns to Anakin and is like, I'm proud of you and I love you and I hope you know that. And Anakin's like, oh, whatever. And there is a moment that is exactly like that with Thras and Thrawn where I did literally start crying. So we did mention Thras. Obviously he is the focal character for all of the memories, which means all of them hurt very much. What was all y'all's favorite memories and also just like top 10 Thras moments?
My favorite Thras moment is when it is one of the excerpts that was released before the book comes out, and I think there's a reason it was released, but when Thras is like, you don't really understand people sometimes, and Thrawn's like, yeah, I don't, but that's why you're here.
Oh, the one that was like literally just released before the book.
I think about that a lot. I have been thinking about that since I read that part. It's gonna live with me for the rest of my life because he's not like making fun of Thrawn or anything. He's just like, you're just a silly little guy. And Thrawn's like, I am neurodivergent. And he's like, I know. And I'm here to protect you. And he was like, yeah, that's why I'm in the military and you're in politics. It's just, it's so well written and it feels very much like it really does convey like, oh, these two people care about each other and they complement each other's strengths and weaknesses. And it's one of, I think, the most like pivotal scenes in building their relationship and really making you feel for Thras and being really sad and realizing what impact Thras's passing had on Thrawn and why we like when we see Thrawn in the other books, like where he is and why he is there because of Thras and losing him.
That moment for me pairs with my favorite moment, which is the one where he's like, you're my brother. And Thrawn is like, I don't get that. Like, we're literally not brothers. You are a cousin. And, like, why would you consider me my brother? I don't understand. He, like, sits there and he's like, no, I'm going to explain it to you, whatever. And then Thrawn's like, is this what having friends is like? And I did legitimately start crying on a subway platform. I was like, oh, I'm very emotional. And I don't know if this is before he starts becoming friends with Arlani or after. I want to say it's before.
I think this is already after. This is like after like the way after the little cafe like board game incident. And back then like Thras was still being like, this is my friend. And then at that time he's just like, oh yeah, talk to me about Ziara. Or no, that was even like Ziara, after like the Ziara moment, but
it also pairs well with the moment, I think it's in Greater Good or whatever, or in Chaos Rising, where he's with Arlani in the art museum, And he's like, oh, and he's like, oh, do you want to like look at this art, whatever? And instead of her being like, oh, girl, why did you bring me here? She's like, you know what? Tell me about it. And he's like, oh, you do want to hear about it? And like, and he's like, oh, nobody ever like wants to actually hear about it. Oh, and like,
I love these like older friends of like Thrawn, because like both Thras and like Arlani are obviously older than him. But like I don't know how much with like Thras, but I think Arlani is like at least like 5 years or something older than like Thrawn. But like both these like people being like older like sibling moment for like Thrawn, but also like besties being like, hey, it's okay. Like if you want to like talk about these things, I'll listen. I'm actually like want to hear what your thoughts. And Thrawn being like, this has never happened to me before.
well, I don't know how much older Thras is, because Thraki does say like, we did want to pair you guys together, and I feel like they are kind of sort of rising in the ranks together a little bit. This is also why I wish we knew a little bit more about Thras, because it'd be cool to see like parallels between them, because if they were similar in age, because they definitely like tried to be like, oh, we're gonna pair them together like skills wise and whatever, and he did seem like he was kind of young. They were like, oh, like he's a cousin, but he's like, you know,
he's like a new like
yeah, he's new
aristocrat.
Yeah,
Thras is just a little guy. Confirmed. Not
I mean, he is shorter than Thrawn. If y'all saw that poster from the Barnes and Noble.
No, he is literally just a little guy.
My theory is this: Thrawn is autistic, obviously.
Correct.
And his two pretty best friends, Thras and Arlani, have ADHD. and so Thraki was like, these two motherfuckers need to complement each other with their two little brain problems.
Thraki is like, I love neurodivergent people.
Yeah.
I do love that. He's like, yes, I love it. And I'm going to compliment both of your strengths and cover for your weaknesses. Iconic. Thraki, I miss you, King.
Oh my god. This is why, like, Thurfian is neurotypical, and he's... Fuck Thurfian.
Once again, I'm unprompted. I'm like, dang, Thurfian, I hate you so much.
Dang, Thurstalmu, though.
That's the only context of which I like him, and only because I think both of them would be miserable.
True, but I will say this: if one more thing about neurodivergent, if I don't know if I mentioned this last episode, but I did. In this book, there is a moment where with Arlani where she's talking to Bakif, and they're like talking, they're planning whatever, and she's like, I gotta get this one out before I forget it, before the thought passes me, whatever. And she's like, I know I'm not supposed to interrupt the commanding officer, but I just gotta get this one out here. And I was like, oh my god, girl, so relatable, neurodivergent moment. And then she's like, I am so sorry for interrupting. And Bakif is just like, it is okay, my fifth neurodivergent child.
My favorite memory was when we got the information about what the Odo means. There was something very emotional about that scene. Well, obviously, but like just like finding out that means protector, and in that like specific context, much to think about.
The Stybla family personally comes and bitch slaps Thrawn for the shitty pulls in the Empire.
They're like, hey, girlie, you are our brother, Thrawn.
They're like,
Patriarch Glamiov comes over and just like slap.
They're like, I have the high ground, punches him in the throat.
They're like, give me the Odo back.
Yeah, you're done. You're done.
Okay, wait, no, I'm so sorry, but the CDEF raising money by being like $5 to punch Thrawn.
Thurfian's like, I'll fund the entire CDF.
Put Thrawn in a dunk tank.
I mean, I feel like that's what Ezra does in Rebels. Like, he just perpetually dunks on that man. So
that's what they're doing wherever they are, like lost in like Ezra. The chaos.
That's how they're raising money to get out of the chaos.
Okay, I'm so sorry. The idea has now occurred to me. The concept of them being, like in like the outer reaches of fucking who knows where, and Thrawn and Ezra are just going door to door, like selling chocolate bars. They're like, we're trying to fund our trip back into like, lesser space. If you could buy one, it would help. And then Ezra's eaten like half of the supply, and Thrawn's like, you can't get high off of your own supply.
I can't deal with that.
Ezra being like, well, it's not my fault. I'm hungry. We haven't made enough money.
You haven't made us any. You don't know how to cook anything.
Yeah, he's like, I'm literally neurodivergent and a minor. You need to be the adult here. And Thrawn's like, I am also neurodivergent and a minor.
The way that neither of them are minors.
Oh, I didn't get to say what my favorite memory is, but I liked all of them, not to be that person, but I did really enjoy all of them. But I guess if I have to pick one, I actually think it was like really funny, the one memory about like Thras. Like, he's sitting at his like little desk, he's doing his little desk job, and then the other person just like, hey, you're the newest person here, so you gotta fucking do this like work that Thurfian is making us do. And Thras is like, I guess. And then him realizing, he's like, wait a sec, this is about Thrawn. He's like, fuck. He's like, I know Thurfian hates Thrawn and I have to protect him. And like Thurfian Thras distracting Thurfian by making himself seem incompetent, and Thurfian being like, he's like, Thras, he's like, do your job better. And Thras is like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'll do better next time. And Thurfian just like, don't apologize for like messing up either. You gotta just like, just do better, yeah. And then Thras is just like, all according to plan. He got so distracted by being angry at me that now Thrawn is safe.
I also do love the moment where Thras is like, he figures out that Thrawn lost a sister or whatever, and Thrawn's like, it's okay, like, I'm over it. It's not anything I can change or whatever. And Thras is like, so anyway,
I'm gonna go find.
I started swinging.
He's just like, Thrawn, my bestie, my brother Thrawn is like still like not really over the fact that his like sister disappeared like years ago. I'm gonna find out what happened to her. Don't worry, Thrawn. But then he never actually got to give it to him himself. He like Tharaki is the one who got the thing, and then he's just like, hey, Thivik, if you could give this to Thales, my new like Thrawn protector, because my boy Thras has passed away, and now I've assigned this little girl to protect. Yeah, the protector. Shut up, no.
Okay, speaking of that, can we talk about what the fuck the Chiss do to their Skywalkers?
Yes!
I'm so sorry to the motherfuckers who are like, oh my god, the Jedi steal babies, like, they're, like, terrible to them. No, actually, because they do not wipe their memories. They do not actively traumatize a child.
And they also do not actually kidnap children. The parents have to actually give them permission.
They do actually the exact opposite. Not for me to go on my little Jedi Order rant for a second, but this is I love the concept of the Jedi of the Jedi and Force sensitive people as being neurodivergent, and the Jedi Order being one format of people being able to be amongst people who can provide them adaptation and accommodations in the world, and that's a utopia that we don't have in our own world, etc., etc., etc. So that's why I think Obi-Wan says it, I think in a Legends book or something like that, that he it's so much harder for people who don't grow up with the community around them, because they have something that in their brain that they don't understand, and and that explains Anakin really well, even Kylo Ren really well, or whatever, of not being amongst your peers and et cetera, et cetera. So for people to be oh, they steal children and they're bad and whatever, and I'm go fuck yourself. So what the Chiss do is they're we'll bring them amongst their own people.
Not only that, they say, hey, we're gonna have a state mandated test to make sure that let's see what's going on with your kid. Oh, we've sensed something that is different about your child. We're going to take them away and seclude them and like then rehouse them with a different family post that and kind of just make them live like that. Congrats.
Chiss Ascendi, I did say this for the first book, but I was like, hey, Chiss Ascendi, your reliance on standardized testing makes me feel fucking violent.
Yeah, I don't really enjoy the no child left behindification of the Chiss ascendancy. I don't really enjoy
No Chiss Left Behind.
No!
That's the episode title. It was replaced with the Every Chiss Succeeds Act.
Not Michelle Obama, Thalius!
George W. Bush.
No! Get out! Get out! Dick Cheney!
Okay,
everybody, Mick Cheney.
Yeah, it's really fucked up that they're just like, oh yeah, we're like doing little tests. And then like if they realize like this like child has Skywalker like potential, they're just like, okay, we're gonna take your child now. And then them being like realizing like, oh, the Skywalkers, they like cried too much and they had like trouble like, you know, adapting to being in the like defense or fleet, like, you know, in the military. And then like, so it was like no good for all of us because like kids crying, so we're just gonna wipe their memories. Like that is the most fucked up thing. And the fact that they like said that like all the patriarchs, they have to agree to like that, like, you know, it's like a thing that's like kept secret amongst like the really high up members of like the aristocrat and the like the syndicure and all that stuff. So it's just like that means every time they like have like those like special little meetings where they're like, okay, we gotta like decide on like the rules, and they're like, do we all still agree with you know, taking these kids like and then making them have their memories wiped, and them all being like, yeah, that sounds fine to me.
So I always wondered, they have said in previous books that other than the bridge crew, everybody else on the ships, everybody else in the fleet doesn't know about the Skywalkers, which is like kind of crazy. Like, oh, for thousands of years it's been this way and nobody's fucking figured it out. But also, they wipe the kids' memories. What about their parents? Is everybody just under a really big NDA? Like, well, how does this fucking work?
I assume it's like some type of either NDA situation, because like Thrawn clearly like remembers he has a sister and all of those kind of things. But yeah, I assume that it's like your child is like being taken, is getting Hogwartsified, except for so much worse somehow.
Very powerful of Thrawn's sister to be like, actually, fuck y'all.
Yeah, no, okay, that's what I wanted to say, actually. This is something I'm curious about, is like, do we think this practice changes with the ending of this book? Because Thalius and Cheery go off to work with Barika at the Shade House. But I like the idea of, especially because like for Vanya, for example, she is like 1 or 2 years old. The idea of her being part of the first generation of Skywalkers after a fucking millennia of them getting their memories wiped, rather getting to keep their memories and then being able to be prolonged and stay longer as Skywalkers.
Is that why the Grisks want to steal them?
Exactly.
Did they find out that they're special little girls?
Exactly. Like there are so many questions that I'm like, Timmy, I want a Skywalker trilogy. I want the Cheery books. Where's the Cheery trilogy?
Not the Skywalker trilogy. I want the Skywalker. Wait.
Sky-Walker Saga. I don't know her. Only Cheery's books.
I do like Sky-Walker Saga, but it's Sky Dash Walker. And they're like, yes, this is the Skywalker Saga, and have people be like, oh, this is so stupid, Legends, whatever. It's like, it's Timmy's on.
I would live for that, because they would be like, Kathleen Kennedy made it about women, and I'd be like, surprise, should it?
A 75-year-old man made it about women.
Actually, kind of powerful of Timothy Zahn to be like, listen, I know George said that the last name for these two men, and then Shmi, is Skywalker, but what if I retroactively made them little girls? And that like that's just a common word in the galaxy, maybe that has been translated across many languages, that then became someone's name.
I do think it's like not only just like the NDA like kind of like thing, I think seen as like an honor to be able to like give their like child over to the freaking military and be like, oh yeah, they're like a Skywalker, and maybe they even like pay off the family being like, oh yeah, here's like some money since you're like giving your fucking child to us and you're never gonna see them again. Here, take this, which is still like really fucked up and just like Chiss, why the fuck are you like that?
It has just occurred to me that maybe they are just saying that they're rematching the child to a different family.
But
That's
why?
true, that's true.
Because the child is just like gifted, smart.
Yeah.
Actually, your child gets to be rich now and you don't.
No, exactly. Like,
but also you could
it
never
is, like,
speak.
not the Charlie in the Chocolate Factory-ification of the Skywalkers.
No, but also,
No.
but that wouldn't explain why you can like never speak to them again.
I'm so sorry, Chissy in the Chocolate Factory.
Cheery in the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, that makes Thrawn Willy Wonka, and that's very powerful.
Willy
Stop.
Wonka!
No. Shut up, okay.
Wait, does
Wait,
that
the glass elevator is the
Oh,
5 weeks he
God.
makes her learn how to pilot.
Because like, you know, the Chiss Ascendancy already has like weird politics about like moving up and being like part of one like the 9 ruling families and how that's such a high honor, and just like giving up your old family, and they don't particularly seem to care about that. Like being taken in by one of the 9 ruling families is like cool, so they're just like, yeah, okay, go be part of one of those families. That's like a really great honor for the rest of us. Like, goodbye. Like, because Thrawn, like Zienda, I'm assuming Samakro too, don't ever like really talk about their old like families, and just like the brief mention of possibly being rematched to their like old families is just like, fuck, they don't want to go back. So I assume maybe it's like that with like them taking these little girls away and being like, oh yeah, we're gonna take your kid away. They're gonna be rematched to one of like the 9 ruling families, or like one of the 40 great families.
Which technically
And
isn't
these,
a lie.
like, yeah. So they're like, those parents are just like, okay.
even if they did know, and if they knew that the Skywalkers often get matched to powerful families later on, it could be like, I know that she will get a better life. Oh my god, not the Skywalker program being the problematic privatized adoption industry. Oh no. Oh no. Chiss Ascendi.
Fuck the Chiss Ascendancy. All my homies hate the Chiss Ascendancy.
Well, so there's this thing with the Chiss Ascendi in general that we see with a lot of stuff, that they are a very, like, they're a very collective. They think in the collective. So
You could say they're very concerned about the greater good.
shut up.
I can't with
But
that.
They just don't want to
The-
deal with like,
the
you know, like
Republic-
things like the lesser evil.
I mean, the Republic, eventually the Empire.
But, you know, when you ignore both the less, if you focus on the lesser evil and ignore, you know, and work for the greater good, sometimes you might not recognize that the chaos is rising.
Shut up. Not to do the obvious comparison. So I apologize in advance. But the Empire and the Republic, like, are very individualistic, and obviously something does occur in the High Republic that changes how they used to be until they are now. But they're also very, like, it's very American ideals. It's very, like, individualism, whatever. The Chiss Ascendancy is the exact opposite. They're very collective. They've been like that for a very long time. They have these family roots that are very much like this. One might say the Cold Warification of the Chiss Ascendancy versus the Republic and the Empire. It's like, well, are they Russia? If they're Russia, that really does make the Skywalkers like the Black Widow program, and I can't deal with that.
We can't bring that into an actual conversation about the real Cold War.
I'm joking. It's called jokes.
Also followed by, quickly, who is the Margaret... Wait, stop. Stop. Who is the Margaret Thatcher of the Chiss Ascendancy, and why is it Thurfian?
Okay, Thatcher, is Margaret Thatcher a member of the Myth Thatcher?
Was she girl bossing quote about Margaret Thatcher?
Oh, do you think that she effectively utilized girl power when she sent paramilitary jet squads to Northern Ireland?
That's Thurfian.
Honestly, that's actually Thurfian talking about Thrawn to, like, Aralani.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, do you think he used boy power?
Boy
Does
bossery.
Thrawn is Thrawn a boy boss?
To be fair, Thurstalmu did just like openly be like, "Hey, Jixis, hi, my bestie."
Everyone makes mistakes.
Speaking of which, a total side note, now that we've compared them to the Cold War, let's talk about Thurstalmu.
Hi, welcome to my Thurstalmu TED Talk, where like they're my problematic favorite ship.
How are they problematic? How are they?
I do just want to
Thurstalmu
say
is married and Thurfian is a homewrecker.
They could be in an open relationship.
Hey,
They could be separated?
do you guys know that song that's very popular on TikTok that's like, "Oh girl, it's you," that is about Donald Trump and oh my god, Theresa May? That is Thurstalmu.
That's so true.
Not as the world caves in. Thurstalmu edit. Oh no, okay. You know how it's like Taylor's version? It's Thurstalmu's version.
No.
Get Taylor out of your mouth in reference to them.
In all seriousness, though,
The All Too Well music video, but it's Thurfian.
No, where's Nana's
what is
version?
the scarf? What does the
As she,
scarf
like-
mean?
Still the virginity thing.
No, I need the story about Nana like realizing that this Thurstalmu is like cheating on her with like Thurfian and her divorcing.
No
like,
body, no
Thurstalmu.
crime. That's a Taylor Swift song for those of you who aren't Swifties out there.
To be fair, the half of the posts on this podcast did forget that Thurstalmu was married. It's number one.
Yeah,
they could be separated. Number two,
He's a cheater.
open marriage.
I want to formally apologize for forgetting about poor Nana, that she is Thurstalmu's canonical wife, and like fucking Nana girl, I hope you got out of there, because like you're we only saw you in like Chaos Rising for a bit when you had to like take care of Cheery, and like Arlani did not want you to be there taking care of
Actually,
Cheery.
she seemed like kind of a bitch, so actually fuck her.
Well, like, we don't actually know her that well. And, like, she still did not deserve to be cheated on. Like, is this Thurstalmu? You're married. Why are you, like... why are you...
He's married. He's married and he might be dying.
That being said, in all
Noah is not
seriousness-
here again.
I'm filling his role.
That being said, in all seriousness, like, we have been joking about Thurstalmu for, like, some time. And in this book, like, it really got a very... borderline gay in this book. Like in this book, like especially towards the end, it was like,
we used to have a relationship. Can we have one?
Literally, I yelled. I was like, I literally turned to Claire and I was like, they're fucking. Like I stopped listening. I disconnected my headphones. I was like, Claire, just listen to just this part. And I was like, Claire, just listen to this part and tell me what you think of these two characters. And it was the like, we used to have a relationship, blah 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 part. And Claire was like, oh, they're fucking. Like, like it's clear.
Strangers to friends, friends into lovers, and then friends or lovers to strangers again. That song from Ted Lasso, anyone? So true. Anyways, anyone have final thoughts about Lesser Evil?
I thought it was really good. I will add, I think it really was like the Revenge of the Sith of Thrawn.
We didn't actually talk about the fucking plot that much, but
That's not why people listen to this podcast.
no. But I will say, Starflash, girly, sometimes things that are expensive are worse. I would love to see at some point where they got that from the Republic. I just want to know.
They bought it off of Marcion Rowe's great-great-grandma.
Stop. Here's the piece, and you guys know the High Republic better than me. There were a lot of little things that I was like, there's some connections here. First of all, that's kind of a big thing to introduce Starflash, and it'd be like, oh, they got it from a Republic. Anyway! Other one was, obviously, Cheery and the Magus. If they're close to each other, like, it affects each other, which I think kind of, it goes into that same thing I said before about, like, people who are Force sensitive, if they grow up near each other, they can figure out what that means, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they do just be Force timing each other, and yes, that is something Mari Santeca do be doing.
Yeah, well, and that's one thing. At the end, like, Buckheef's, like, last line is, like, I just hope that that's, like, not his his ending or his doom or whatever. I forget what the actual line is, whatever. And obviously, Thrawn's not dead. And the line that the Bendu says to Thrawn is the like many-armed embrace thing, and obviously we think that that's the Purrgil, but I firmly believe that those two lines and those two moments, they allude to something else. They allude to like his actual end, and that's where the brain is going right now.
They go in, they're like, Thrawn, you're back, group hug, and then they stab him like Caesar.
We did say, yes, this is the Revenge of the Sith, and it's Revenge of the Sith in that, like, we know what's going to happen, and so we just don't know how, so it's very much like watching the entire Siege of Mandalore and Revenge of the Sith, and it's like, oh my god. Still happy that there weren't as many deaths as in Revenge of the Sith, but I will say, I don't like Anakin as a person, but the sadness of all the people around him who love him, the moment when Thrawn mentions Anakin and is like, maybe I'll get to see my friend again if he survived, whatever, I did genuinely tear up at that. Like,
I laughed.
Oh! He is gonna show up and be like, and it's funny because you do know what, like, he does show up to the Empire. He's like, I know one person at this party, and they're like, he's dead.
Yeah, but then he meets Vader, and then he's like hanging out with Vader. He's just like,
I do like to talk about the parallels to Anakin, as, you know, he is this like talented person who they keep saying is like, he could either save all of us or fuck us all over. And then they realize like, oh, he's very talented, but he's got a little bit of a worm in the brain. And Buckkeef at the end is like, what did you say? He said what? What did he say? Like, at the end, it's this, and it's very similar, but I do also like to think of all the parallels, and I wish somebody had gotten to ask Timmy if this was on purpose. Probably not, but if this was on purpose, of like all the parallels of the characters in my brain, this is how I have it mapped out. Please fight with me on it, but I firmly believe, at first I thought Thalius was his Rex, but this book is what changed my mind. And then I thought, no, Samakro is his Rex, because Samakro has a very similar arc to Rex of like from beginning to end of being his own person. So I thought Samakro was his Rex, and obviously Chewie is Ahsoka. And then I thought Thras is Shmi, because that's, at first I thought, well, his sister that he lost when he was young is Shmi, but then I thought, oh, Thras is Shmi, because that's like the loss that kind of like, that's the beginning of the end. And then I was like, oh, Buckkeef is Qui-Gon, because he like advocates for him, but Buckkeef's not dead, so there's that. And obviously Ar'alani is Obi-Wan, who's always there for him and covers up for all his fucking mistakes, and is like, bestie girl, what are you doing? Like, I will be behind you, but I literally keep risking my own career for you every single time. I don't know why, but I trust you. And also who, like, when they get confronted later is like, bestie girl, what are you doing? In treason, although not as much as in Revenge of the Sith, obviously. And I firmly believe that Thalius is R2, because Thalius with the Glock, that is what convinced me. And she's the protector and like kind of the only useful one in the room, other than, you know, Thrawn or whatever. So I firmly believe, and, you know, R2 is like the only bitch who gets anything done in this house. And I think that's very much Thalius. In this essay, I will. Oh, also, obviously, that makes Wutro Cody. Obviously, the Cody one is stored in the Wutro Lani. Discuss amongst yourselves. But this is the hill I am dying on. Oh, and that does make Eli Padme. Not just because they're in love, but also like character-wise, because it's very much of like, I have had friends, I have people who love me, I have people who support me, but then I met this one person who makes me feel like I can be myself, and who understands me in a way that other people don't, and who I would literally do anything for. It does make me feel a little crazy. And anyway, that's my TED Talk. Does anyone disagree?
Who's Thrawn?
Anakin!
No. I mean, no, I heard that. I mean, like, who is he? Like, who is that guy? That like I've never heard of Thrawn.
Yeah, who is that? Can you like? I guess you're like a bigger Star Wars fan than me because I don't know who that is. Like, which
Thrawn? No.
Louisiana?
Wait, I remember Thrawn is the gold guy, right? Like the one who's like, oh, hello, it's me, Thrawn,
Actually,
with the red arm in the sequels.
Actually, who is the 3PO of the Chiss Ascendi?
See, I was gonna say that's Samakro, but
Roscoe? Actually, I did think about R2 and 3PO as Thalius and Samakro is very cool.
Them being them because there's no droids in the Ascendancy, and there's always like two gay little droids. It being Thalius and Samakro.
Samalius being the two gay little droids in the Chiss Ascendancy.
Like no, they're like
so
they fit it because it's like
powerful.
you got Chopper and AP5, you got C3PO and R2, you've got.
And
What
they always
I'm
kind of have like
hoping-
that relationship where they're like they kind of like seem like mean to each other sometimes.
Will they, won't they, if you will?
Mel, what are your like final like thoughts on this book? We spent too long.
I like this book. I think it's since reading it, I've had to make a lot of thoughts about my Thrawn book rankings. I think it's probably my second favorite Thrawn book. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a really great way to wrap up this series, and like not to sound like a basic white bitch on Maine, but like I'm sad that it's over, but I'm happy that it happened. Not crying because it's over, smiling because it happened type moment. Because I'm like, yeah, like this really put together a lot of pieces. I talked about this last episode of like, I understand exactly how Thrawn went from just a little guy here to like, sir, you are committing war crimes just left and right, because he is
What no Thras does to a motherfucker.
what no like true importance of community does to a motherfucker, because after being raised in the Chiss Ascendancy is such a strong idea of like these things, he might not quite understand it or grasp it in that same way, but being thrown into a culture that does almost the exact opposite, I can see how that like pushes a motherfucker to be like, actually fuck this, I'm going to become violent.
Well, we were talking about that last episode where it was like there's a lot of politics in the Empire, but they're personal politics, which Thrawn is great at because he can read people and he can read their motivations. It's not the collective politics of interconnected bullshit. It's personal motivations and personal goals, and that ends up being the Empire's downfall. And that's why he thrives there, because it's more of like a win-lose personal situation, of more of a literal battle situation. Yeah. And also the actual politics are gone because it is a military society in the Empire.
I'm thinking about like Krennic, don't choke on your aspirations, and like Thrawn is like, I have my fucked up little project, but like at least it's not Starflash 2 Electric Boogaloo.
To be fair, Anakin did agree with him. Anakin was like, bestie girl, this is bad.
He's like, I support Thrawn's little TIE Defender project. What the fuck is Krennic doing?
He's like, I love Thrawn's fucked up little Hot Wheels project. Let's get into that.
Okay, but to be fair, that's just because he's like, man, I sure do love ships. Krennic's is just a big stupid thing that doesn't go fast.
That's exactly.
It's a big ball in the sky. What the fuck is that?
Stupid golf ball.
Canonically, the reason he does hate it is because it will put him out of a job.
Yes, but also I'm just thinking about the idea now of Thrawn just being a bitch and being like, wouldn't it be funny if you made Vader in charge of looking over all that shit? Anyways, bye, idiots. I'm gonna go fuck off.
Fucking Krennic is the person that's just like, Epcot ball. When they're just like, who's your favorite like girl in school? I think like, and then Krennic's just like, Epcot ball, but it's his fucking death.
Period.
As the person in this like a little Zoom room who has read this book 3, about to be 4 times because I'm finishing the audiobook.
Bessie, you may have read it almost the most amount of times besides like editor Tom and Timmy himself.
I'm sorry that I'm unwell, and like Thrawn, like the second we got the arc of this, like we got this like literally the last day of September is when we got the arc of this book, and I said, sorry everyone, Thrawn has taken the reins on my brain. Like, I couldn't, like, you know, this was before like Ronan dropped. Emma, I love you if you're listening to this. And I hadn't finished Ronan because I was just like, my brain said, hey, read Lesser Evil right fucking now. And I was just like, you're right. And then I kept rereading it because I was just like, I don't know what I feel empty inside. I just have to keep reliving this moment. I don't know if it's like exactly my favorite, but it is also very high up there, probably like my second favorite. I re-listened to the first Thrawn book, like Thrawn 2017. And I think actually the original like first Thrawn book is my favorite because that is where Eli thrives. And Eli, I miss you. And just there's a lot in this book, and maybe that's why I kept rereading it, is because like, yeah, it's like this may be like the last time we get to like see these characters, and they're very epic. And I got very emotional several times reading this book. I have to dock points though because there's no Cody in this book.
Well, we have Wootro. We have Wootro, who's Chiss Cody.
No,
Chody!
No. The way I almost said that same exact fucking
Shut
thing.
up, not Chody.
Chody watch.
Yeah, sorry, this has been Chody.
We should, so in
No.
every other piece of media, we should do Woodrow watch.
I like Cody showing up in the Kenobi show, and we're like, Wootro watch. Where was Wootro?
But yeah, this book meant a lot. It's really good. We got to like I feel like really solidified. Like, yeah, Thrawn is neurodivergent. Like, anyone who says no, no offense, you're stupid. Just those moments with like Thras, I'm thinking about you. Like, I haven't read any of the Legends books, but now I'm very tempted to read Outbound Flight because Thras King, you dug your way into my fucking heart. I feel like I am physically incapable of letting go of these characters, and that's why I'm in a perpetual state of I have to keep rereading Lesser Evil.
So I would love to talk about my final thoughts about Lesser Evil. I think Jess did clock me earlier in saying that. So I have basically read the whole book. I kind of skimmed through it so that I could be prepared to talk about it. And then I'm going back and rereading it now. Obviously, I don't have a lot of the very deep takes. That being said, dang, like the plot points are solid. Like, it feels like I know that I was first very concerned because it's a very thick book. It's a really long book. And I think a lot of the times with very long books like that, there's a lot of words and a lot of talking and a lot of unnecessary stuff. But I do not feel like that was the case with this book. Like, it felt like every part added something to the story. I think it was a good ending. I'm excited to really go back and look through it with a bit more of a critical and like deep eye.
So fuck, I forgot to like say the epilogue of this book. I how it is in fact the first page of the Thrawn book, and how when I realized that
Rogue One of it all, though.
Yeah, when I fucking realized that, I like started fucking crying. I was just like, wait. This is literally the first page of Thrawn 2017. And the fact that Thrawn did like whole ass, like not even lie to Nightswan in Thrawn 2017. He's just like, yeah, I willingly got exiled by my people so that I could like, help them out. But it was like kind of like a fake exile where like I just jumped around like planets until someone like found me. So tee. And like Nightswan's like, why the fuck are you trauma dumping on me? But okay.
Not Nightswan being like, wow, can you please tell me before you start trauma dumping? And Thrawn's like, I was just gonna ask if you wanted to go hang out with my cool friends on my home planet.
Yeah, but like back when I first read like Thrawn 2017, I was just like, is that the truth? Or was he just lying to Nightswan to get him to like tell him like shit too? tries to be like, hey, you want a trauma bond with me, Nightswan?
This is my second favorite Thrawn book after Thrawn 2017. Yeah, it is the culmination of a lot of stuff, so it's like hard to talk about it like by itself. I also did love what you guys said before of how none of it felt like it was, you know, a lot of people talking and trying to get through stuff. Timmy, I think, said on the panel, he was like, you know, for every scene and like who I'm gonna pick, whose point of view it's through, like there's a purpose for it, and it really felt like that in this book. Truly, my only critique of it is also the reason why I love it is like it took me far, like Jess read it like 3 times. It took me a long time to finish. I legitimately didn't want it to end because I was like, oh, I may never see these characters anymore. I felt the same way about Ronan, actually, where I was like, oh, I'm never probably going to see these characters anymore, and I'm genuinely very sad.
2 types of ways to like deal with like never going to see these characters again. You either read the thing very slowly because you don't want it to end, or you just keep rereading it because you're like, fuck.
Literally, I'm very sad. And there were pieces where I was like, oh, like, does Thrawn get to say goodbye to Cheery? Like, I'd love to know more about like Thras as a person and like all these different things, whatever. And I was like, I understand why we could never get to those, whatever. But I was like, oh, the 2 sides of this coin is like, oh, we've created such like fleshed out, cool characters that now it's like, oh, I want to know literally everything about them. And it's very sad. You know, maybe we will get our Clone Wars of this prequel trilogy. No, I'm kidding. The little emotional moments with Thrawn. I was also rewatching the end of Rebels right when I finished this. So I have friends that I've been showing all of Star Wars, and we did finish Rebels the same week that I finished this book. So I was not in a good fucking place. It was very hard to watch Thrawn lose his fucking cool on Lothal after this. I was like, hey, bestie boy, what are you doing? I hate you, girl.
He had to shit. Next question.
I was like, hey, bestie, no.
It's because the Empire has like different type of like lactose like products like over there.
I hate you,
like,
people.
I mean, also they did because he no longer has his support group. He no longer has his system of support
like
that keeps him.
Said.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like,
no,
he
literally.
He is now radicalized.
No.
But in a bad way.
In a bad way. This book, I cried several times. I don't like how much it makes me emotionally attached to this man. He's genuinely funny. Set a bunch of times. Legitimately, when Zyenda says ass, it's very funny. And also Thrawn gets to be funny a bunch of times. And yeah, I said this on Twitter a couple places where like the whole like thesis of Star Wars is like, yeah, it's about space battles, but it's really about the friends we made along the way. And the whole thing with Thrawn is like, oh, he's a battle tactician. It's all about the strategy and it's all about the nitty gritty or whatever. And like, yeah, that's there. There's plenty of it in this book. But it's literally it's and I think that's why people have always loved these books and this character or whatever, is it embodies the shit that people always like about Star Wars, is that maybe the real battle tactics are the friends we made along the way.
Welcome to Thrawn Ascendancy. What if? In this segment, I have compiled a couple theories about what was going to happen in Lesser Evil before Lesser Evil came out. And we are going to see not only how close they are, but in what world we think, like, how could that have happened? I want to give a huge shout out to @Sky-Walker Thrawn on Twitter and other social medias. I know they're on TikTok as well, for their help, and they helped me a lot.
Oh, that's why you said you went to an expert. Oh.
I did. I went to the source. So I have a couple theories for you guys today of things that fans were saying, like maybe this will happen. And we're going to say, how close was it? And in what world could that have happened? What would have happened? The first one I have for you today is Jixtus is Thras theory.
The way Josh kept saying that one.
So, okay.
Josh and Sage and Mackenzie.
Josh and Sage and Mackenzie, all friends of the pod.
Yeah, the way
we love you.
the way that I could see this working is if like Thras is like, oh, I'm gonna go die, and then he lives and is like, dang, no one came to pick me up. I guess I'll become the Joker now.
That's powerful of him, though.
So this is my Jake Paul AU. I think you just became a prank YouTuber, and this is Jix's whole deal is just one big prank on the Chiss.
Oh my god, he just his prank got a little bit too involved, and he was like, I can't go back now. In for a penny, out for a pound, right?
Exactly. He's like emotional. I got canceled. In parentheses, exiled.
Oh, I do like Thras notes app apology. And then having to do a video apology, being like, sorry, my notes app apology wasn't good.
I like the duology of chancel culture and Thras's notes app apology.
Thras gets canceled. Is that not what dying is?
It's just permanent cancellation.
The ultimate cancellation.
Didn't Thrawn get canceled?
Yeah,
yes,
they both did. Just like the Paul brothers. Are you guys ready for the next one? So this one theory, this was less of a theory and more like a manifest. People attempting to manifest this was Kilori kicks the bucket.
God, I wish.
Unfortunately,
I was trying to manifest that so hard since Chaos Rising.
He's the reason that Uni and Vanya get
I'm
captured.
so sure this motherfucker is the reason. He went to the Grisks after all of this. I'm so sure. It was like, hey, I'm pretty sure the Chiss used children as navigators, and the Grisks are like, okay, let's just start kidnapping kids.
To be fair, they have used like other navigators, like when they don't want to show like that. Oh, they use their own navigators. They have used other navigators. Has no other navigator from the Navigators Guild been like, this is a little close. This feels like this chair is for children.
I think they use like different. Did they use the same ships?
Like, oh my god, no! It's like a restaurant where they have the booster seat that they put on top of the chair. I do also want to say we're forgetting that this is called What If, so we do need to say how let's fantasize about Kilori's death. What do we think would have happened?
Blows up in a passion.
I think he's just hanging out and he's like, yeah, so Thrawn, and then he just explodes.
Yes. So this is my thought. So do you guys remember, this is a bit of a deep cut, those commercials for Capri Sun where like if they stepped on the if they stepped on the Capri Sun litter, they just exploded in a passion? That is what I think happens.
Respect the pouch.
Respect the juice pouch.
Correct.
Hey, this book, they did get boxes, like juice boxes this time. Like they have stepped up. They're like, yeah, we got a little bit more money. We got like actual like fancy like juice boxes for like the kids.
Not them being like, we've been defunded, so we've moved from pouches to boxes.
Do you think it was defunded or they just got more funds? Discuss.
Wait, also we did find out that Thrawn does like, what were they? Cheese puffs?
Cheese triangles.
So they were like little crab rangoons.
I do like
I saw
the
people
idea.
think Cheez-Its, but like what if they are just like slices of, like they had a charcuterie board?
It's Doritos.
Doritos.
Does he like Cool Ranch?
Did you guys see like that tweet
Cool
I
Ranch
sent?
is too spicy for him.
Yeah, the tweet I sent the other day was just like, this is what I feed the Palpatine to kill him. Well, no, that's actually Thrawn's favorite food.
Oh my god. That's why
it was like the Doritos and Mountain Dew cheesecake.
Yes, because he gets the Doritos.
Yes, and they make them differently in the Empire.
Have we ever explained that Thrawn has IBS thing on here?
We don't need to. It's canon. Here is my last one that I've brought for you today. A lot of people were thinking that our boy Sammy, Samakro, for those of you who don't know who that is, was going to pass away in a passion, perhaps sacrifice himself. In what world do we think Samakro would have kicked the bucket?
He would sacrifice himself for Cheery.
I think.
I was so ready to sacrifice himself for Thalius and Cheery. Yeah.
I was gonna say death by misadventure because I think it'd be funny, but yeah, that one's much better. That's why Timothy Zahn wrote the book and not me.
I also did forget about that part where Samakro did kind of enter his Thrawn era and be like, I started swinging, and it was.
He was like, "Mages, fuck off."
He was like, "Maybe I will shoot on innocence," and you're like, "Whoa, Thrawn moment, Jesus!" And you're like, "You've been hanging around with that motherfucker a little too long, bestie."
I was gonna say fart attack.
I do like the duality of us being like, haha, silly boy has accident, and they're like, what if it's because he gave his life up for the, and we're like, haha. Anyway, I just think Samakro being like, oh, hold on here, Thalius, let me grab the door for you. Whoa! And the door like doesn't have a floor on the other side and he falls.
Not him going to the Winchester Mystery House with Thalius and Chewie.
Thank you guys for playing this edition of Thrawn Ascendancy. What if? I cannot wait to bring this back when there's another hyped up story.
We'll do it for High Republic.
Yeah, Fallen Star's gonna be crazy.
It's weird doing 2 segments in a row, but welcome to Name That Ship. It is our favorite segment where one of our hosts will bring a fan fiction, read the tags, the title, everything people will need to know to guess who the main ship is in the fic. I am going to go first. I have brought one today. This is from 2017, just so you guys know. It's a bit of an oldie.
Is it Thrawn by Timothy Zahn?
It is. It's actually Thrawn by Timothy Zahn. Let me go. I will go ahead and get into it. It is M for mature, character A/character B, character A, character B. Character A takes character B out and gives him a taste of the finer things. A bit sweet and fluffy. Is character B really tired or is he playing? I bet he perks right up when he gets to character A's place. Sugar daddy character A. Do you want to hear the summary? Prompt fill.
Yeah.
One falling asleep with their head on the other's lap. Drabble, character A X character B, set in my sugar daddy character A office AU verse.
Is one of these characters Thrawn?
One of them is Thrawn.
Is the other one's not a Chiss?
No,
It's not Eli.
it's not Eli.
Are they Imperial?
Yes,
Are they someone he knows?
Is it Anakin?
it is not Anakin.
Is it
Is
one
it-
Orson Krennic?
It is not.
Is it
I
a
will let
man?
you know.
Is it
Thrawn
Briley
is-
Round?
Thrawn is not the sugar daddy.
Is it a man? So
Is
It's
it
a man.
Tarkin?
It is Tarkin.
Motherfucker!
Thrarkin.
Yeah, now is a good time as well. I should probably say this was sent in by @Ash of Clan Ren on TikTok and Twitter. Thank you so
Aw,
much, Ash.
That
Ash,
would've given
why?
it away.
Why did you manifest this?
That would have given it
Ash,
away.
Bestie, Ash.
That would've given
if you're
it- that would've
listening,
given it away.
Why would you do that to us?
Not sugar daddy Tarkin. First of all, we know that that's not Tarkin. Tarkin's type is country. Actually, though, Thrawn is technically a country
In
boy.
some circles, Thrawn is a country boy.
Hey, also listen, remember in Thrawn 2017 when like Tarkin shows up to Thrawn and Eli's promotion, he does like touch like Thrawn's like little like new insignia or whatever the fuck. Like puts his hand on like Thrawn's fucking chest area. So much to think about. I have a fic. Hold on, let me pull it up. This is called I'll Find a New Place to Be From. It is character A/character B, but not right now. Character B/character C, because this is like there's some things happening with these like characters. Past character A/character C. Anakin Skywalker/Padme Amidala mentioned. CC 2224 Commander Cody/Obi-Wan Kenobi mentioned. Admiral Aralani, Sheev Palpatine, Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, Padme Amidala, Mitth'Manuel'Miranda, Thurfian, Cheery, Mitth'Manuel'Miranda, like Thalius, Force Sensitive Character A, Alternate Universe Canon Divergence, Flashbacks, 2 Timelines, Messy Breakup, Relationship Drama.
Is one of these characters Thrawn?
Hold on, I haven't finished
Oh!
the tags. But yeah, I guess I'll give that away. I'll give that to you. One of them is Thrawn.
Are there 2 relationships or is it just one?
there's,
Sorry, I
like,
can't remember.
Kind of like 2
Okay.
that kind of intersect in a weird polycule V. Where was I? Messy breakup, relationship drama, secrets and lies, manipulation, skywalking, Chiss characters, the Chiss ascendancy, political alliances, betrayal, hurt/comfort, lover to enemies, friends to lovers, enemies to lovers, militarism, cheating, monologues, slut shaming. Character C is a jealous bitch. Character B is not immune to. Wait, sorry, I can't read that tag. Arlani has had enough of this. Eventual reunion, relationship repair, corporate trust, building exercises, long distance relationship, power couples. Character A, which is Thrawn, hates heterosexuals.
So Thrawn is character A.
Yeah, Thrawn is character A.
Is Eli?
Yeah.
Yeah, Eli is character B.
Okay.
Who's character C? Is it Samakro?
Samakro is character C.
Damn, we one-shotted that. Wait.
So do you want to hear the description?
I only noticed because Samakro was like, I was like, Samakro would have been tagged in the other tags.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, Eli wasn't already tagged, or Samakro wasn't. Although I did think
Yeah.
Callus.
No, not Callus. Get him out of here.
Yeah,
Do
not
you want to
that
hear the
Callus.
description?
Get Callus out of the ascendancy. Yes, I would love to hear the description.
So, description. In the course of Thrawn's life, he had always found that the battlefield was simple. It could be understood and categorized, manipulated to one's own advantage with ease. But love was very different. Following a very messy breakup with his long-term boyfriend Samakro and his exile from the ascendancy, Thrawn met an Imperial translator named Eli Vanto. After forming a strong friendship, Thrawn confesses his romantic feelings just before sending Eli away to serve the Chiss ascendancy. Though they felt comfortable in their new relationship, there was one variable Thrawn had not anticipated: a jealous Samakro with one goal in mind. Through tumultuous battles and political upset, Samakro and Eli grow closer, so close that they develop feelings for one another. Feelings that Thrawn can sense and cannot ignore. Confronted with the reality of his actions, Eli must choose Thrawn or Samakro, stability or chaos, love or lust.
Okay, that kind of fucks though. Like, wait a minute.
Do you all like that?
I feel like I've lived for 1,000 years. That's like the sequel to the Ascendant. That's the sequel trilogy.
Well, da 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 da. Welcome to my new segment. Was that real fanfic? Or did I just make it up?
Yes.
Whoa!
Did you just Thrawnify us?
No, because actually, like, give me your answers. Is that a real fanfic or did I just make it up?
I mean, I've heard that concept in the
I
fandom
guess
a
you
lot,
must have
so
made it up.
Yeah,
yes,
I figure
it's real?
you've made it up to get
No,
us so good.
I
Well-
want it to be real.
To double like Thrawnify you, this is a made up fanfic, but I am not the one who made it up. Shout out to our bestie Noah, who I contacted and said, "Hey Noah, you want to like make up a fanfic for me to bring to the pod?"
No, I did that
sleep.
not knowing anything about these characters.
Yeah,
and we were
said-
kind of like that. Kind
Before
of
this was last week after we recorded the or was it before? Actually, let me see what did I text Noah about this.
Not Noah, sleeper agent, get
Uh,
out!
This was actually
no entering his Jixtus era.
No, this
could
was-
have done this while we were
before-
literally in his house.
No, this was before you guys went to like go see Noah. This was Wednesday. I contacted Noah and was like, "Hey, I know you're not going to be in the Lesser Evil episode, but do you want to write a fake fanfic like with tags, like so that I can bring it to the pod so that it's like you're with us?" And then so Noah did send me that.
Wait,
And also here's the other
Noah
tag that I
entered his
was not.
Thras era.
Shut up. Here's the other tag that like I was told not to read it until the reveal of like, you know, Noah's the one who wrote this. But the last tag was Eli is not immune to chitties.
Okay,
Period.
but the fact that this is like so close to what people have already like conceived of and talked about, like he got this and he hasn't even read the books. Like, damn, Noah.
Yeah.
To be fair, we were insufferable to that gentleman.
That's true. But yeah, that was Noah and I's little like Thrawnifying you moment.
I feel like I did get Thrawnified.
I feel like I've been hurt. I feel like I've been lied to. I feel betrayed.
The Chiss Ascendi really got me.
So thank you so much for joining us this week for RuPaul's Pod Race. Episodes usually drop on Sundays. For updates, Star Wars news, and more curse shit, follow us on social media at RuPaul's Podrace on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. If you really love the show, please rate and review our show on Apple Podcasts, even if you don't use it as your podcatcher. It's a huge help to us. Also, a big shout out to Eli Vanto's bestie for the kind review. Also, I really just love that your name was Eli Vanto's bestie.
In celebration of Chissmas, we're going to be giving away a copy of Lesser Evil. We'll post how to enter on all of our social medias, so be sure to be on the lookout at RuPaul's Podrace on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The winner will be announced in our Life Day special coming out on the 5th of December, so be on the lookout.
May warrior's fortune smile on you, and don't criff it up.
Chiwaka Waka.
Not Chiwaka Waka. We're not doing that again.
Why did you add an extra syllable in there this time?
Chiss Waka Waka.
No, because last
week she said Chaka Waka. Now she said Chiwaka Waka.
Chewbacca Waka. Chewbacca's a chiss confirmed.